Hey guys, this is my review video of the new Pro Spec Vaughn Vision 9500 chesty. I already did an out of the box that really went over the build and the specs. So I encourage you, if you're really interested in this unit, go watch that too, because that's going to be more about the build and the specs. This is just more my review after using it, what I thought of it. I gotta say, I'm in love with this thing. After using it a few times, I ended up selling my Bauer Shadow chesty, which if you saw my videos on that, I actually really like that chesty. Like, there's nothing wrong with it or anything. But this just brought back all the memories of using the original 9500 that I loved. But I actually think it's an improved version of it, which that's what it's supposed to be. It's like a beefed up, kind of better version of it. And again, like I said, it just brought me right back to that feeling of using it back in the day. And it was always one of my favorite chesties. This kind of line of these older Vaughn units of like the Epic, Vision, Ventus kind of stuff. I loved all those units. Once they got into the SLR, that kind of lost me. I mean, the SLR 1 I still like, but then beyond that, they kind of lost me. That's when I moved to Bauer. And I don't want this to be an indictment on Bauer or to make you guys think like, oh, I changed my mind. Like, I still think Bauer makes really good chest protectors. And I'll actually say that in general, it's probably going to appeal to wider variety, more goalies than this will. I do think this is much more of a niche unit that's going to appeal to very specific goalies. I happen to be one of those, so that's why I really like it. But I can definitely see people not necessarily thinking this is the best for them, or it's just not right for them, or whatever. So that is kind of the caveat with this. While I really love it and it's got me to sell my other chesty and use this as my main one now, I can see how it's not necessarily for everybody. But if you are like me, you use the old Vaughn units like this and you really like them, I think you really need to take a look at getting this, because like I said, it's even an improved, better version of it. So, I mean, right away, the mobility, excellent. I can do anything. Nothing feels restrictive at all. Like, mobility is great. And that's how it was with the old units. But with the old units, you always, like Vaughn was known for the mobility, but you would always sacrifice protection for that. This, they've really gone a long way to beefing it up and improving it. The little bit of protection issue I did have with the old one, it wasn't so bad that I couldn't use it, but you could feel shots, you might get the occasional bruising, that kind of thing. With this, I didn't have any issues with, like, I haven't gotten one bruise. There wasn't any shot where it was like stinging me, like, nothing like that. Like, the protection has been just as good as the Bauer Shadow one that I had been using right before this, that I really like as well. But because this is based on that older unit, it doesn't have, like, you want to call them bells and whistles or some of the features of a more modern chest protector. Like, there really isn't anything to adjust other than, there's straps on the arm to adjust how tight it is on the arm. There's some strapping on the back behind the neck there and the shoulders, where you can kind of adjust like how big this opening is. Those were always basic ones that chest protectors have been coming with for many, many years. But you can't like adjust the arm length. There's no like adjustable belly flap or pieces you can Velcro on and off. So the size is pretty much the size, right? And that's probably gonna be my biggest warning to people. And I did say this in the out of the box video too. You really gotta be aware of your size. And that's gonna be tough if you're ordering this sight unseen, if you don't have a store you can try it on, if you never had the original one. Like with me, I mean, I was still a grown adult. I mean, I'm pretty old. So I was still a grown adult when I got the original one. Was it 12 years ago, whenever it came out? So I haven't grown or anything anymore. So that size, which was large, is what I got here, large. And that worked for me. So I knew the size. I didn't have to guess with that or anything. And I don't have a store to try it on anyway. And I didn't need to. If you didn't have the original one, you didn't have any of these older Vaughn units, you're not sure about the size, it's gonna be dicey for you. I have to say, you definitely have to be careful. So this is a large, and I would say this fits smaller than most other large modern current chest protectors. I would say I'm only 5'11", and to try to give you an idea with the arms, I measured my wingspan is about 74, like just a hair under 74 inches. So 5'11", wingspan of roughly 74 inches, and the large fits me. But if I was any bigger, I would say you're going to start getting into it being too small. And there's no other chest protector where large is like that. In fact, in the Bauer Shadow, I was in a medium. So, that's definitely something to be aware of. If I had to kind of give you a range, I would say 5'9" to 5'11" would probably fit into this unit, because I would say the biggest difference about this compared to a lot of other modern ones is the length of it. It's kind of short compared to other ones. Like I said, there's no added things, there's no adjustable things at the bottom to extend it at all. So what you get is what you get. Like it's really right at my waist there. Like I would not want this any shorter than it is. So, and the arm length feels about perfect for me too. So like I said, roughly 74-inch wingspan. So if you're any taller than 5'11", I would say you got to go up to XL. And even if you're, like I said, 5'9", and maybe you usually have medium and something else, you might want to think about going in large. Again, it's best if you can try it on, especially, like I said, because this doesn't have any kind of adjustability like a lot of other ones. That's the best way to go. But if you do know your size, this can really fit great. Like to me, and I had the same feeling again when I used the older original one. If this is like a perfect size, like it feels like it was tailored to fit me. Like I said, the waist is like perfect. The arms feel perfect. Like I don't need to adjust the length, and like, even if I could, I wouldn't adjust anything on it. And that's how I felt with the original. That's why I was real confident ordering this size. And then, so beyond the sizing, like I said, the protection felt great. The mobility felt great. It's just like that comfort, like safety blanket feeling of like, oh man, I just love it. Like I said, and it's what caused me to sell the Bauer. And this is my current, it's the only chassis I have, but main chassis, only chassis, whatever you want to call it. I'm just in love with it. But like I said, I had that attachment to the original one. I knew what I was getting into. I knew the sizing, everything dialed in. So it was a lot easier for me to move into this. It can be dicey if you didn't have the original one. If you're a younger guy, you never had these older units, you're more used to some more modern ones. A couple other features that like this doesn't have besides like sizing, adjustability type stuff. So again, because it's based on that older design, it's beefed up. It's got some newer materials like carbon and stuff where they didn't have back then, but the design of it itself is still the same. So the like kind of wraparound and protection up around here probably isn't as robust as most modern ones. Like my Bauer, several of the more recent Bauer ones I've used had more protection going around here and around the back. As you can see around the back, it's very basic. And there's not like wraparound protection on the arms. So you are more exposed back there. Now, for me personally, that's never been an issue for me. And really, unless you really shouldn't be turned around facing the other way from the puck. It would have to be some weird scramble play situation that would even come into play. But just in general, I've never felt the need to have a lot of protection in the back, whatever. With modern units, they've started doing more wraparound protection for the back. That's been like a feature of more modern stuff. And I'm not against it. Like I haven't felt that it was like a bad thing. Like it didn't feel like it was hurting my mobility or anything like that. So I'm not against it, but I just also never felt like I really needed it. So for me, this isn't a big deal that this is kind of that older design more and doesn't have some of that extra side or back padding. But again, that may be for you. If that's something you're used to and that's something you've found that has helped you with some of the newer ones, then that's a negative for you. I mentioned this in the out of box too. Like the one thing though, I do kind of wish they added to this that wasn't in the original one, that is a feature in more modern ones, including like Vaughn's SLR SLR 4 now, I guess is the newest one. I think they started with the SLR1 actually. They used a pad on the underside of the arm to kind of cover this area, because that is something more, especially with the glove side, like if the puck's from behind the net and you're kind of trying to maybe block a pass out with the glove or something like that, that can be exposed. Or even if you have your glove up high and maybe something kind of gets deflected and the puck hits you there. So especially on the glove side, that is something I could see being an issue. Now, I didn't experience that. Again, these are just going to be kind of a happenstance thing that if you're just unlucky that you get hit there, it's not going to be a normal place to get hit. But that is something much more possible for me than like some of the issues with the back protection. So I kind of do wish it had that. Didn't come into play as being an issue with me that I've used so far, but if there was like one nitpick or thing I would say, hey, maybe you could add this, it would be to add that protection on the other side there. But other than that, I felt like this unit has been perfect for me. If you like, so the only store I've seen this just being sold like at retail is Goalies Plus. I mentioned the out of box video, that's where I bought this from. But I'm sure you could, whatever retailer you go through to order custom with Vaughn, you could probably just order this custom, just tell them you want the beefed up current 9500 Vision Pro Spec. And I would actually say that's probably even a better way to go, because then you could, I feel this is just a looks thing. It doesn't really affect it, but it would be nice to get a little more, I don't know, color or something into it. It's just kind of plain black. Some of you may like that. But it's colored out the graphic or whatever. So if you order a custom one of these, you can, maybe add a little more color, and you might be able to address things like that padding. I'm sure if you order custom, they would add that for you. Maybe you can even try to ask about something going around the back of the arms or something like that. So you might be able to do a little more and maybe address some things that might be issues for you going custom. Or even maybe it could be a size thing, like if you feel like you might need longer arms or longer body, shorter arm, whatever. So custom is actually probably a better way to go. But if you, like I said, if you're like me, you 100% know your size and whatever, and you don't really care about like graphic, color, stuff like that, you can try going to Goalies Plus and see what they have. The thing is though, that's going to depend on their inventory. It might be out of your size or whatever. I don't currently off the top of my head, I don't know what their inventory is. I remember someone else I was talking to said that they didn't have their size in stock when they went to look for it. So, it's going to be kind of hit or miss for that. But if you don't like need it right away and you're willing to wait on a custom order, you could always just order custom through Vaughn. But yeah, trying to think if there's any other issue or review thing I could talk about, say protection, mobility, just feel on me, great. Oh, I know another thing I kind of wanted to say. So something else I really liked about that, and I noticed when I was watching like video of myself playing, you see how nice of a shape this has? Like it has a really squared off, even shape. There's no, it's not rounded at the shoulders. It doesn't kind of slouch on you. It's really propped up and it gives you a nice squared off, solid shape that doesn't change as you're playing. My Bauer, multiple of the Bauer ones I've been using, the Hyperlight 2, the Shadow, I think it has to do with the way they kind of segment around that area, around the shoulders, and they do that to make it, more mobile. But I think some of that segmenting around there caused it to sort of be a little more form-fitting, droop down around the shoulders, and I just noticed I didn't look as big in net with those on. Now, in the past, a lot of times looking bigger in net has also come with a chest protector that wasn't as mobile, just very bulky, cumbersome. But in this case, that's not it. Like you've seen, I can move completely freely, do everything, but yet I'm also still getting that nice, size with it, taking up space around the shoulders. So I do like that because I'm not sacrificing like mobility or anything, and I'm still getting that coverage up there around the shoulders. So that was a plus that I noticed. But yeah, so I guess, there's not only so much you can say about a chest protector. Like I said, for me, this has just been perfect. And I can see for certain goalies, certain of you, again, perfect match. This would be a really good option. For others, like I said, if you've never used this kind of chest protector before, if you're used to more modern stuff and you're happy with that, you like some of the more modern features, you need some adjustability, 100% I understand how this wouldn't be for you. And I still highly suggest the Bauer Shadow. Even the Hyperlight 2 was good, even though I like the Shadow a little better. But I still highly recommend those Bauer units, and they probably are, like I said, the more mass appealing, would be good for the more majority of goalies. But there's definitely some of you guys that I think this unit would be perfect for, like me. And if you like my channel, there's a good chance you kind of have the same sensibilities I do when it comes to gear and same likes and whatever. So yeah, for me, this is great. I love it. I've been loving this ever since I got it. So yeah, so you take all that, what I just told you about this, for how you want. And if you want to give it a try, I would highly recommend. But like I said, I also understand if you're good with something else, a more modern unit or whatever. But that's my review video, and I'll see you in the next one.